Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The United States abides by the creed of no one left behind, and we left a lot behind, many. American citizens, lawful permanent residents, green card holders. Can you give us the numbers that the State Department currently has? Because these numbers seem to fluctuate every day.
Of Americans remaining in Afghanistan?
American citizens, and then lawful permanent residents.
So we don't track the latter, Mr. McCaul. I don't have a number on green card holders. On American citizens, as of yesterday afternoon, we are in touch with 289 Americans in Afghanistan. As we talk to them, we ask them their status, whether they're interested in departing, if they're ready to depart in the near future, if they have sufficient travel documents like their passport. That number right now is of people who are ready to depart is 81.
Okay.
Over this past week, we've gotten about 100, 140 Americans.
We're in touch with a lot of these outside groups and getting our own intelligence, and there are American citizens with blue passports trapped in Mazar-e-Sharif. I can't put this in the record because I can't reveal their identity. These girls and mothers, families, they're all in safe houses outside Mazar-e-Sharif, and they can't get out of the country. I sent a personal private letter to the secretary with these pictures. This was flight 002. They are trapped. They can't get out. I haven't received a response. This is through the Afghan Departure Group, funded through Allied Airlift 21. There are many of them. The only response I got is this is under State Department review. Are you aware of these cases?
Mr. McCaul, we've been in contact with a lot of groups that are trying to facilitate charters out of Mazar, and we have facilitated several of them that have gone primarily to Al Udeid in Qatar. If I could briefly just explain some of the issues that we've confronted with some of these charter efforts. First, the airline company that they're using has, shall we say, a spotty safety record and can't land in a lot of countries, so they seek to go to Qatar. If they go to Qatar with per our arrangement with the state of Qatar, they're coming into our system. So we're gonna own them in some respect. We don't have anyone on the ground who can validate the manifest and who's getting on the aircraft, and we've had some challenges with some of these planes. We've had stowaways. The air crew themselves wanted to stay in Qatar and not return to Afghanistan. Early on, I'll give you one example. We had a group with a manifest that had maybe 10 or 12 Americans and a couple hundred or so Afghans. We checked the passport records, and sure enough, 7 or 8 of the 10 were American citizens, but most of them were in the United States, not in Afghanistan.
So will you ensure me that you will take a look at this letter?
I certainly will.
And I have received no response.
When I get back this afternoon, we'll look for it, and I'll drill down and find out the circumstances.
And then the pictures, again, I can't put them in the record because for their safety, they were in safe houses being protected from the Taliban, but they're young women and children. And it's very sad, holding up the blue passports. I mean, they're all holding up their blue passports. I don't know why we can't get them out. These aren't even P1, P2s, right? And that's a whole nother, probably 100,000 at risk now in Afghanistan under the Taliban rule. And you don't have the count on the lawful permanent residents, so we have green card holders over there. We don't even know how many there are, and we can't get them out, either. Let me ask you this question, and we talk about these groups. My experience was before when the gates started to close at the airport, State Department started to just pull out. And it was these private organizations, these patriots that stepped up to the plate, many of them active duty, veterans, and funded by private citizens. What are you doing today to coordinate with these groups to try to get out the families of people like these that are still trapped behind enemy lines and fear for their life every day from the threat of the Taliban?
So we have a unit now that we called CARE, Coordinator for Afghan Relocation Efforts, led by former Ambassador Beth Jones, who I believe you've spoken with recently.
Yep.
And they are engaged with a consortium of veterans groups that are doing just that. And very recently, we worked with them on a flight that essentially they put together the manifest out of Kabul, and I believe we paid for the flight. I'll double check that. So we are partnering with veterans organizations in a more systemic
Could I
way.
just close by saying we should pay for the flight to get American citizens
Yeah, I'm
out? If the
almost
State
certain-
Department's not paying for this and private organizations are, what good is the State Department?
I'm almost certain that we are, but I'd never like to say anything without 100%
Well,
certainty.
I look forward to working with you.
I'll look for that letter and give you a ring later this week about it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.